Charles Taylor, known as the warlord in Africa, and the former president of Liberia, recorded in various books of history because of his inhuman act that led to his imprisonment and serving a sentence of 50 years in jail. Call me Wambua Omasafu. Charles Gankei Taylor, in his full names, was born in 20th January 1948 at Athington in Montserrado County in Liberia. Had 3 wives whom he married in different consecutive years and had 12 children, 2 being adopted kids. He was the son of Nelson Taylor and Bernice Taylor, who was a judge, member of the elite in Liberia descending from the freed American slave. He received his degree of economics from Bentley College in Waltham, Massachusetts. After his education in the United States of America, he came back to his country, which was under the control of Samuel K. Doe, by then the president, and a military leader who gained power in a bloody coup in 1980. Under Samuel K. Doe, Taylor became the director of Liberia's General Service Administration, GSA. In 1983, Doe accused Taylor of embezzling nearly $1 million, this causing him to flee to the United States of America, but then he was arrested and jailed. Before being extradited to the United States of America, but then he was arrested and jailed. Before being extradited, he escaped to Libya and formed a National Patriotic Front of Liberia, that is NPFL, a military group that invaded the country in late 1989. During this period, his force advanced in 1990 in the capital of Monrovia, but his bid for power was checked by the rival group. Doe was then killed on the same year, 1990, but then the war still lasted for several years, where more than 150,000 people were killed and more than half of the population were refugees in the country. Although NPFL never took the capital, but it had its control over the countryside and its national resources. The war spilled to the neighboring country, Sierra Leone, where it forced the economic community of Western Africa intervening with peacekeeping troops. The 1996 Peace Pact led to the general election in 1997, 19th of July. During this election, Taylor won 75% of the casted votes, but his critics accused him of using unfair tactics, but he still remained to be the president in the city. During the reign of Taylor, many evil things happened, but he had to restructure first the military wing and fill it with his own militia troop. That led to another conflict with the opposition, and Monrovia became the scene of widespread gun battles and shooting. This led to several accusations over him and of murder, atrocities against personal dignities, and other several malicious acts that caused the Second Liberian Civil War from 1999 to 2003. By 2003, he lost control over some of the Liberia's countryside following the growing internal pressure. He had to resign and escaped to Nigeria, which was his exile. In 2006, the Liberian government that had taken control under Ellen Johnson's son requested his extradition of Taylor, and the Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo agreed to comply with the order. On 25th March 2006, when Taylor realized the plot to have him handed over to the new Liberian authorities, he decided to devise a way to escape by road. On his run, he was captured by custom police on 29 March 2006 at Gamboringala, a border post in Cameroon, on a 4x4 wheel drive with a woman and a child in it. The soldiers searched and also found that he had a trunk of dollars in it. The custom police escorted him to Maiduguri, then flown him to Abuja, where the Nigerian president Olusegun ordered his immediate expulsion. Taylor was then flown out of Nigeria by a presidential aircraft back to Liberia, where he was charged with crimes against humanity, war crime committed during Sierra Leone civil war. He was later sent to The Hague, where he was tried before the Special Court of Sierra Leone. The trial began in 2007, and Taylor refused to appear in court in his first opening sessions. The proceedings at Hague unfolded slowly, and 91 witnesses were called to testify against Taylor before his prosecution rested its case in February 2009. In his testimony, Taylor denied all the charges against him, including conscripting children soldiers, ordering amputations and other mutilations of civilians, and illegally dealing in diamond to fuel the 1990s conflict, so-called bloody diamonds. The investigation from that whether Taylor trafficked in diamond was publicized, and a British model, Naomi Campbell, was then called to testify in August 2010 about a stone that Taylor had given in South Africa in 1997. His trial then came to a close in March 2011 as the judges adjourned to consider a verdict which was neither expected soon nor for several months. On April 26, 2012, a verdict was issued and Taylor was found guilty of all the 11 counts of bearing responsibility for the war crimes and crimes against humanity committed by rebel forces during Sierra Leone civil war because he aided and abetted the predators. Reading a copy by the presiding judge, Richard Lusak, he said, "The accused has been found responsible and aiding and abetting as well as planning some of the most heinous and brutal crimes in recorded human history." Though Taylor was not found guilty of having ordered or having instigated the crimes, Taylor's sentence was then handed down on May 30, 2012. Was 50 years in prison, effectively a life sentence, because by then he was 64 years old. This not being enough, Taylor decided to file an appeal, but on 26 September 2013, it was rejected and his verdict and sentencing was still upheld. Wambua wa Masafu.